friends. Look at this wonderful crowd today, practicing a Buddhist-inspired approach to recovering our whole self, our true self. Before we begin our practice today, I just want to bring everybody into awareness about ethical conduct in the practice and really relying on the solidity of the Noble Eightfold Path so that we practice skillfully, wisely, and compassionately. So just remember that when you're using the chat to use wise speech, when you're engaging in the community sharing part, that you use the wise speech as well as cultivating that practice for deep listening. One of the things that happens often in traditional programs is the concept of no crosstalk, meaning nobody comments on anybody else's sharing. And I think that's one way to have community and to connect. But another way is to respond to people's sharings, especially when they inspire. So as we're sharing today and as you're listening to people, if something affects you deeply and you'd like to share about that, it's perfectly okay to say so. The one, hardship, the unskillful aspect and why crosstalk is negated in so many situations is people have a propensity to offer unsolicited advice. So that's simply what we're not going to do today, but to comment on somebody's sharing and to let a person know how it moved you or inspired you is perfectly a-okay. So with that, let's begin our glorious practice today. And I'm going to invite the chime to sing, and then I'd ask you all to use that time as you're settling in, listening to the chime, to assume a posture in your body that feels restful and at ease. Welcome, everyone. This is Recovery Dharma. My name is Julia. I'm one of the facilitators of the Spokane Sangha. It is such a joy to be here. And what I'd like to do is share with you a sentiment of metta as a way of setting the intention for our practice today. This one reads, "May you say hello to one stranger." May you say hello to one stranger. And let's turn that metta on its head a little bit. And let's play today that the stranger you say hello to is you. So the next time you catch yourself in the mirror today, just pass by yourself. Hey, stranger. We're doing new things. We're changing. We are waking up to the causes and conditions of our lives, of our discomfort and suffering, and we are doing things differently, and it's strange and awkward. So today we're going to smile and say hello to that strangeness, that stranger, that awkwardness. And do so in your own mind and body. And may it be gentle and joyful above all things. Allow yourself a couple of moments to breathe. And if breathing is not an anchoring place for you to practice present time awareness, invite that to be perfect. And let me offer another option, which is maybe a gentle tapping of the four fingertips on your dominant hand, the very tips of those fingers, pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky, very tips of them, and tap gently at the level of the heart. Maybe that's your anchor. And let's say that's not working for you. Here's another option. In a very traditional posture of meditation, the left hand is placed down, palm facing up. The right hand is placed on top of the left palm, and the fingertips of the thumbs touch. I'm demonstrating that for you. Very typical posture. This posture never feels natural to me, ever. Doesn't work for me. Look at that. What feels much more natural to me is interlacing my fingers, but keeping my thumbs touching. That feels natural to me. And this pays honor to the spirituality of my youth. Options. That's what we've been exploring this week in our Vipassana practice, our deep looking practice, looking at options. When we shift our relationships to habit energy, that cloud, distort, and interfere with our ability to experience the magnificence of life, we cannot see options. And therefore, our choices are limited, typically unwise, and unskillful. But when we remove those obstructions and inhibitions, we open up possibility. We open up options. And then we begin to feel more confident in our choices. Our choices become reinforcing in an encouraging and positive way. For today's practice of looking at options, I'd like to bring forward difficult emotions and allow that to mean whatever it means for you. Whatever emotion you struggle with. It could be despair, frustration, annoyance, jealousy, righteousness. For me today, I'm going to be working with a little bit of fear. Later on in my day, I am taking my daughter for an MRI. And I know she's going to be afraid. I'm going to be afraid. She's fine. She's okay. It's nothing super, super serious. But this daughter of mine has had, for all of her life, has had a very complicated medical history. And so this is one more thing. And it stirs up all of the other things. And they're connected with a great deal of fear. And so when I have explored gently and tenderly how fear arises in my body, one of the ways it manifests, interestingly enough, is anger. I get really angry at the front desk people who are taking their sweet time. I get really angry at the medical system beyond my control. I get angry at the barnyard people who are driving like maniacs. I get really angry at the sourpuss politicians because why not? Let's just throw them into the mix. I'm already feeling angry. Why don't I just keep piling it on like a giant buffet table and overindulge? Yikes. And when I'm indulging in the gluttony of my anger banquet, I suddenly obscure my ability to see the options to take care of what's actually going on, which is I'm afraid. I can't see it clearly. So this is where I come back to the Noble Eightfold Path. And with wise understanding, I begin to simply ask questions. Julia, darling, what's up? Do you have any idea what specifically you're afraid of? What can we do to soften that? Julia, darling, can you remember your intention for practicing? And my intention is always to minimize violence, aggression, and harm in the world. There's enough of it already. What can I do to help lessen that fear and anger? What are my options? Number one option for me, breathing. Getting in my body. Slowing down. Distraction. If I'm going to go to the doctor's office, they better have some eye candy magazines. I want to look at People magazine. I don't want to read anything serious. Eye candy. Show me the pretty pretty. Let me distract myself for a minute as I breathe. This takes effort, these actions. My speech has to be softer. I have to concentrate and practice mindfulness. And it's because I've committed to this as a way of life. There it is, the Noble Eightfold Path, supporting me, guiding me as I examine my options to take care of my fear so that it doesn't spill over, splatter, and hurt someone else in its form of anger and frustration. So what are some things that are arising in you as you think about your options for working with emotions that are activating, triggering, confusing? Let's take a few minutes together as a community, setting the intention to say hello to these strange feelings, these strange manifestations. Invite them to reveal themselves. Invite them to bring clarity. Let's bring forward encouragement as a community that we can do this. It may be uncomfortable, may be challenging, but we can do hard things. And if you start finding yourself going down a darker, prickly rabbit hole, well, then take a deep breath. Tap your fingertips at the level of your heart. Put your hands in a posture that reminds you of this moment. Come back. Take a rest. Breathe. So many options. Friends, many of us have grown up in believing in the notion that to understand ourselves is navel gazing, selfish, and so on. And aspects of that might actually be true, but the truth is that only when we can change our inner world and our inner landscapes will we positively affect change in the outer world and outer landscapes. Our efforts to understand the way we respond and react to negative emotions, understanding their causes and conditions, and working with them in tender and gentle ways is an act of incredible peacemaking. This is what we bring into a world full of so much conflict and war, so much hatred and confusion, malevolence and sorrow. Your practice today is one of healing toward a world profoundly desperate to have it. We'll end our practice today because we have a big inside group in Soul Center today, and we've got a couple of voices here that are beautiful chanters. Ken, You especially. You've got one of the best chanting voices I've heard. And we're going to end our practice today chanting the three jewels. This is to pay honor and homage to the three jewels. And this chant's very, very simple. It's the word Namo. And Namo means with a wide open, compassionate heart, I bow. So we say Namo Buddha, Namo Dharma, Namo Sangha. These are the three jewels in Buddhism. And at the end of each word, Buddha, Ya, is what we say, Dharma, Ya, Sangha, Ya. And we'll chant this 3 times. And you can chant at home too. We'll take a deep breath together. Join in when you catch the tune. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Dharmaya. Namo Sangaya. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Dharmaya. Namo Sangaya. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Dharmaya. Namo Sangaya. So, with that, friends, let's go ahead and end our beautiful practice with a dedication of merit. One of the first vow of the Bodhisattva is to take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. To take refuge means to return to over and over and over again. To return to the teachings of the Buddha, to return to my own Buddha nature, to return to community again and again and again. That is what it means to have a homecoming. And we do this not just for ourselves, but to be an instrument that dispels the misery of the world. This is a moment of mindfulness by Thich Nhat Hanh, and he writes, "Understanding is the foundation of love." Understanding is the foundation of love. Through your practice of wise understanding, may you add solidity and strength to your foundations, and may the creative ways you express your love add to the sunshine of this day. If it's raining where you are, may it add to the replenishment and hydration. May it add to the coolness and the warmth. May it add to the brilliant illumination. We need it, and we need you. Thank you for your practice, friends. Namaste.